Hey, Kiva.
Hey, how are you?
Grand, thank you.
All good?
Yeah. Just in from the gym.
Straight in?
Had a shower. No, couldn't sit
Okay,
around after that like that. No.
How many do you usually have on these?
Not sure. It sort of varies. We had like 30 the first week. Went down to the last 2 weeks. But they get re-released afterwards, and I think quite a few people, well, there's several views after that. So
Okay, very good.
But like the webinars, no one can actually see them. Oh, we can't actually see them. Can you see anyone? Can you just see me? Can you just see?
I can just see you, yeah.
Yeah. So I've got all the bits and pieces, the Q's and A's, and so we've got.
I'm gonna switch my Wi-Fi very quickly because I don't think it's great.
No, you're grand. It's all good. You work away. Still got to wait for sends anyway. It should be on in a minute. You saw my email, eh?
Yeah. All good.
Awesome.
Excited for the Six Nations next weekend?
Yeah. Should be good. Should be great.
It's going to be odd, but I think I've never made a fantasy team. So I think I've signed up for like 3 leagues or something. So I'm going to give that a shot, see how we get on.
You definitely end up watching games of more intent. I'm similar. I've never done it until this year.
Yeah. So there's lots of rules to consider, or lots of points to consider. So.
Yeah, and that's it. It's actually, you end up being like, you'll work it out very quickly. There's a few things that you're like, actually, it sounds a bit stink. You figure out the weaker teams and you basically max out on whoever's playing them. Yeah, so there's a few rules, a few things you can do, a few strategies.
Yeah, it should be interesting, I'd say.
Hi guys. Hi Val.
Oh, Sens. Hey.
How are you guys?
Oh, good. How are you?
Good. Nice to see you. Jeez, nice to see you, Val. It's been a while, eh?
I know, it's been a while, all right. I've been hiding in that little slice of Northside paradise.
Oh, nice. Hey, Quiva, how are you?
I'm good. Not too bad. Yeah, enjoying the nice weather, so it's all good.
Yeah, that's been good, eh?
Yeah.
Man, well done with this. Well done with this, lads. Do you guys do this every week?
It's all Val, nothing to do with me now.
No. Sense,
awesome,
we just try and we see what happens.
Yeah, he's been running the youth Zoom workouts on a Saturday morning as well, so they're going very well. So no, fair play, it's all him.
Awesome.
We love it.
Yeah. So cool.
Thanks for jumping on. I think we might just get away and just start because it's recording anyway. Sene, I'll check in with you later. Anyway, it's recording, but we won't release it. Do you know Sam O'Byrne? He probably would have worked.
Oh yes,
yeah. So he runs all of our marketing and whatnot. So he'll.
Does he? That's awesome.
Yeah. So I jump on here, but I don't actually do any of the setup. I just go, Sam, I've got this idea, and then Sam comes back to me and he's like, yeah, here you go. Here's the link.
Oh, that's awesome. I didn't realize it was going out. So where's it going?
We don't know. No, so that's the thing. You'll have to get it signed off with your media to make sure that it's all good. But we've got a couple of people on at the minute, and they sort of jump on. They'll pick up in a minute. I've got all the eyes and ears, and so it'll be a bit strange for you guys. But I've got a Q&A, and so they'll watch it live, and then later on, if it gets signed off with you, Sense, then we'll put it back out just to our YouTube page for the girls and the kids to watch later.
Cool. Sorry, I didn't realize that. Oh, yeah.
No, we'll check that off anyway. But I'll just welcome these guys on. We've got a few people in the wings. They can't see, we can't see them, Sene, but they can see us. So that's just the way the Zoom webinar format works. You might have been on them before, I'm sure. But feel free to work away and ask questions in the Q&A box. I'll pick them up as you go and find a way to work them into our conversation. Tonight we have Sene Naoupu. Wow. We're very lucky to have Sene Naoupu, Leinster and Irish international, in the middle of camp at the moment, getting ready for Big Six Nations. And with me tonight, I'm very lucky to have a co-host, Kevin Morris, club stalwart and proud owner of Winston and Dobby. Where are they?
Yeah.
They're not.
No, they're downstairs. No, they wouldn't be able to keep quiet now for 45 minutes, so they're downstairs. They're good fun, and often they love jumping onto the Zooms and making an appearance. The famous dogs. So it's cool. We're here to have just a brief chat, really, and talk about, I guess, rugby, and talk specifically about women's rugby and growing the game and what it looks like from your end, from someone who is at the top of it. But yeah, I thought I'd bring Kiva on as well because you bring an awesome perspective that I wouldn't be able to speak to, but you've definitely been there and you're coaching now and you do such a great job with our girls and with our young people. So thanks for jumping on with us and asking the questions and probing away. But no, wait. Yeah, we'll just start with you, Sene, and I thought you'd just give us a little bit of your background. As I joke often with these guys, our tan isn't really from Kildare, so you might want to explain, I guess, a bit of your background and where you came from and how you ended up here in Dublin.
Oh, cool. Hey, Val and Quiva and everyone on the call, thanks very much for having me tonight. It honestly is such a privilege to be, to connect with you guys and to connect with a club like Clontarf. So thanks very much for having me. Oh yeah, it hasn't been too bad. Kildare sun lately. So tan wise, so I'm actually from New Zealand. I was born in New Zealand and first generation New Zealand born Samoan. Val will know all about it. And moved to Ireland in 2009. So I've been here for the bones of, I've been on this side of the world for the bones of 10 years. I moved to Galway first, and I started playing rugby in Galway with Galwegians when I first moved to Ireland, and I live outside of Dublin now, and so I'm actually proud to play for Leinster now too. So I suppose long story short, I first started playing rugby when I was 13 years old in New Zealand, and inspired by my brother to play, actually, to be honest, watching him and growing up in a small town where rugby was a big thing in the weekends and sort of ingrained in the culture, a bit like GAA here, which I actually really love watching. So I suppose ever since I was little, I just, enjoyed throwing a rugby ball around. I actually enjoyed basketball was my first sport. And enjoy playing all the sports in the backyard, cricket and volleyball and softball, touch, all of them. Athletics, actually. Athletics was one of my other favorite ones. And I think, in terms of some of the technical stuff with running and the basic physical literacy, I think was from my sort of just running around in the background and from athletics. Fast forward to where I am now and still playing. Love the game. Still a few goals to go for, which is why I'm still in the game and I'm still loving it. So just really thankful to be playing in Ireland and for Ireland.
That's awesome. I'll jump in real quick because I'm sure Kiva's going to ask it. But in terms of athletics, what were events did you enjoy specifically? You said a bit of running.
Oh, I'm not fast, so I'm not like a good runner, like average runner, But I did all like the speed drills and that stuff, and it kind of helped me with the tickers, with speed tickers and things like that. And now, and then the throwing events, but. I wasn't like too good. I think my point of that was that, like, in terms of being coached early on around the physical literacy it's actually stood to me now.
Yeah, I'd say we have an awful lot of people as well in the club who play, like you're saying, play Gaelic or Camogie, or maybe they do some martial arts and that kind of thing. So do you think that really helped you to be able to play for Leinster and for Ireland?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, 100% be, I would encourage people to play as many sports as they can, and not to specialize too early. But at the same time, if you absolutely love it and, you know that that's the sport, then obviously, you go for it. But, for me, basketball was my first sport, as in my first love and my first sort of opportunity to travel, for an age grade New Zealand team, back in the day, and my first taste of that environment of competitive high performance initially as an under 14 and then under 16s and then under 17. So to be honest, it was that experience through basketball that made me want to experience it more in high performance sport. And then the pathway was available there for rugby. So I ended up choosing rugby.
Okay. So you chose rugby because there was the opportunity to play, or was it the more interesting game, or?
A little bit of both. I think at the time, it's very different now in New Zealand and in most countries where there's better structures in place. But I think at the time rugby was a bit more supported, and I felt, had more to give in rugby. So, yeah.
Very good. I'd say it was the right decision anyway, by how much and how well you've done so far in rugby. So that's really cool.
Oh, thanks, Cleve. I'm still learning. Still lots to learn from you.
Of course.
Always. I'd vibe with you heaps on this ends, because obviously we come from a similar background, similar place in the world, but it is very much, rugby is our GAA, and it's something we have pushed on the series with the youth players around not specialising too early. And like the beauty of our game, I guess, is that rugby involves so many different attributes from different sports. And so similarly enough, my first love was actually cricket.
Really? Awesome.
Yeah, whatever. Like, it was. I grew up in Caoimhe, and it's basically like D4 in Christchurch, and so there weren't many. There weren't many people with my skin complexion in my school, and we loved playing cricket. Well, they loved playing cricket, so I jumped in and did it. But the speed and the reaction skills. I think it's like whatever you first fall in love with, it's generally something it's because you find some sort of gifting in it. And then when you get to rugby, it's definitely one of your strengths. Like I find like a lot of my fast twitch reactions are probably, they're decent, but I'm just not very fast long term.
Long term.
A long distance, but yeah, you know yourself, like it is sport, like you just need to be involved and keep doing it. And that's one thing we definitely pushed, and especially for our girls, it's just like get amongst it, try it out, give it a crack. And I think there sometimes is a bit of apprehension around that. I find that especially here with the kids, it's like, oh no, I'm gonna suck at it, or they're really good. I'm like, give it a crack. You had any experiences like that, scenes where you've sort of like gone, oh, I've been a bit a bit shy about it, and you're like, oh, I don't want to do it, but you've pushed yourself to?
These are awesome questions, guys. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I've been like that, like with certain things, and it's around, the confidence, isn't it? So for me, in terms of what Val was talking about, getting involved or participating in other sports that you might enjoy. In the first instance, you got to give it a go because you won't know if you enjoy it or not. But that's really important for understanding and, knowing how to hop, skip and jump and run and, walk. And I know it sounds really basic, but, putting one foot in front of the other, heel, toe, isn't, sometimes it's, you do kind of have to give it a go, but yeah, certainly it's transferred into, with my own rugby and being able to, manage such different situations. But actually on that, I think it's a good reminder, like when I mentioned the physical literacy around, being able to like hop, skip and jump and run fast and, do a burpee as quick as you can. Those sorts of basic things is really important for rugby, in the sense that if you know how to fall, if you know how to fall as a young girl on the ground, or if you know how to sort of get back up again as quick as you can, that's actually, a couple of the key things in terms of from a safety point of view, being tackled or being tagged, double tagged, or those sorts of things that people probably overlook.
I guess it's really important to be able to fall and be able to tumble and to roll and everything you're saying as well. I was wondering as well, did you always want to, or did you always play in the backs as a centre, or did you move around positions? How did that work out for you? When did you decide that's where you like to play?
Oh, I actually, I've always been a back. Yeah, I wish I could be a flanker, but yeah. But my first position was 10. We called it first 5'8", and over here we call it fly half. So yeah, I was number 10 because my brother was number 10, and at the time Carlos Spencer was number 10. So for those of you who don't know him, he's a bit of a magician, isn't he, Val?
The king, Carlos the King.
Carlos the King. And if you don't know him, just Google Carlos Spencer. And when I was growing up, he was playing around the similar time. Like, he's much older than my brother, but I was exposed to those types of players. And now it's great that more female players are more visible for younger girls, that they can literally see someone that looks like them. Mm-hmm. When I was growing up, it was more the men's game, and then through knowing some of the Black Ferns and provincial players that way there. But I was originally a 10, and I played more 12 when I moved to Ireland, to be honest.
Right.
We've got a question just come in here, and it was just before you started talking about it, so you've sort of started touching on it. But the question here is, would you think that it's harder for women to get into the professional game over men getting into the professional game? And just a bit of background there, Sene's actually married to an ex-professional. You might see him around the club. He coaches under 20s, but we won't talk about him because we're not talking about him today. So you would have seen that side of it, obviously, for him and his career, but and for your own path. Do you have any insights that you could offer, I guess, some of our viewers?
It is a challenge, isn't it? We've just been discussing this in my work meetings, and as part of my remit, actually. Yeah, so it's going to eventuate to that in time. It's the way the game's going, and a couple of weeks ago we launched a global competition, and what it means is it sets it up for an aligned regional competition. So for us, it'll be the Six Nations format, and then sort of our domestic competition, which would be our pinnacle competition, which would be the Interpros, and then your Energia AIL. So it'll get to the point where it needs to be semi-pro, and there's some challenges that come with that. So I probably didn't answer your question, but it's a super question.
No, it's good. It's good. And actually, and on that, and I know that New Zealand's, without sounding too harsh, New Zealand's a little bit behind in terms of like Interpro status. We obviously have provincial rugby, but I see that the girls are playing Super Rugby, which is very exciting. I think that's pretty cool. Have you had any thoughts about that? And maybe we might even segue into some of your work that you're into these days, as well as rugby.
I'm really excited for the girls in New Zealand. We're actually quite lucky over here that we have like your Six Nations, and we have November tests at an international level. And then when you come down, we have our Interpros, and whereas say in other parts of the world like New Zealand, they don't get as many test matches as we do at the international level, which is bizarre, isn't it? So it's another reason why the global competition had to launch for other teams to get more games. But competition like that is exciting for them, and it also then kind of is exciting for the game in general, for girls around the world to aspire to competitions like that within their own countries.
Nice. And then just a little bit, and we won't go there for too long, but just do you want to touch on some of the stuff you're doing for work now in your new role, as well as playing rugby?
I won't bore everyone for the details, Shivas. It might sound intense, but I play rugby and then I work in rugby. I also work in other sports as well. So things have been pretty busy, and loving the new role, the head of strategic projects and research, and for international rugby players, which is the global player body for rugby, and do advisory with World Rugby too, and strategic consultancy with some national governing bodies here. So there's some exciting projects that we've got going on, both in rugby and some other sports that hopefully you'll see when we launch something in a couple of months. So things are pretty full on, and some good partnerships going on, launching next week that you'll hopefully see.
Busy as always, I'm sure. I'd love to know as well. So I think everyone's really excited about the Six Nations, and we'll definitely jump into that. But I think one of my favourite matches I've watched in the last little while was the Leinster versus Harlequins game. It's a couple of years back now. So just because it was really exciting to see sort of two teams for two different countries just having a bit of a game in a big stadium, and it was, a lot of promotion around it. So how much did you enjoy that? Would you like to see more of that? Do you think that could come up as well?
Oh, thanks for raising that question, Caoimhe. That hands down was probably one of my favourite games in my entire career, and I've played for a wee while. Yeah, probably for what it means as well as the game itself, and then the amount of effort put into it and the investment put into that one match as an exhibition match initially, which is what we were going to reciprocate, and then COVID came along. So it's great we actually got it there before COVID came. Your question was around whether it was...
Do you think maybe more of that could happen in the future, or would you like it to happen more?
Yeah, more of it will happen in the future.
Okay.
Whether it's as exhibition games and it reciprocates and moves on there, but it's been done once, and we've needed to set it up that it wasn't the last time.
Yeah, no, that'd be absolutely brilliant, I think, as well, going forward for some of the girls who are playing into pros with us but want to make a step up to Ireland as well, which is brilliant. And then I guess obviously this weekend is a big one for women's rugby as well, with the Six Nations kicking off. So how's all the prep going? I think everyone's probably been keeping an eye on Instagram and the RFU TV, seeing how you guys are getting on in training. But are you as excited for this tournament now?
Yeah, really excited. We've played in a wee while, and excited to test ourselves. It'll be a tricky one, jumping straight into an international test match without getting any warm-up games and things like that. We play Wales away in Cardiff next Saturday at 5 p.m, and they would have had played a good game against a pretty strong opposition in France, so it'll be interesting to see how they go in that match. But yeah, we'll focus on ourselves. We've got camp this weekend, and so ripping to the week for the squad that's named.
Yeah, so there's a very talented larger squad that's been announced anyway for the tournament, so I'm very excited to see how everyone gets on. I'd say there's a lot of competition for jerseys as well, which is always a good thing.
Huge competition for jerseys, which is brilliant. Awesome for the environment. The environment is pretty empowering, getting the best out of each other, challenging each other when we need it and rewarding each other when it's positive. So it's, we just need to test ourselves against an actual test match to get to gauge the true barometer, the output.
Yeah, I know, I'd say it would be absolutely brilliant, and I know it's been being shown on an awful lot of TV channels and everything, so if people haven't watched it before, definitely something interesting to watch, since the sport is kind of waning now. On other sort of channels, we don't have GAA or anything for a little while, so this is something to have a look at over the weekend, which would be really good. I'm personally really looking forward to it anyway, so it should be good.
Nice, Caoimhe.
Should be an absolute cracker. So you kept 38 times here internationally for Iron. I think that's right. I hope that's right. And so you're very much a senior player there, and seen as a bit of a mentor. One of the things I'd love to ask, and for the benefit of the girls that are coming through the club and our women's team as well, is in terms of people coming through, and there's so much exciting talent, and even some of the girls that I know that have gone through, man, they're freaky athletes. Like there's so many good rugby players about here, and it seems like it's more prevalent. Well, maybe it depends where you position yourself, but it does seem more prevalent than maybe in places at home. One of the questions I'm getting to is, in terms of that talent that's coming through, what sort of things are you seeing in them, and what's the advice for some of these young talented players coming through in terms of the attributes that they may need, or some of the disciplines that they may need to pick up and focus on? And I guess, again, like I said, there's plenty of young girls in our club that are looking at it and wanting to take it seriously. So some good advice for them long term, and to hold them in good stead.
Yeah, nice. Such a good question. I love that question, because I remember when we first moved here, like around 10 years ago, and watching GAA, hurling and camogie and the football. I genuinely was like, wow, the engines on the girls, and the speed and the agility, the just natural pure athleticism and fitness. I was honestly like blown away. And then, you play when I was going in rugby, and then I got to meet some other girls, and you see it, like you see the transfer and the speed and the fitness and the agility, and the talent transfer. That ability was really impressive. And what I'm really pleased about now is the pathways are becoming a little bit more clearer for girls to then enter, at under 16 or 18 level, into the sport, and they're starting to thrive. An obvious example is your Baven Parsons and your Dorothy Walls and Inya Breen. So a lot of the girls had also been exposed to the Sevens program as well, which is, for me, that was my first entry point as well. It was through the Sevens program. So, to be honest, I owe a lot to the Sevens program for my comeback to the sport of rugby in general. And yeah, basics of, being able to run, to be kind of fit for your position, and for the team being able to catch and pass, basic core skills like that, will hold you in good stead. But as well as those things that I'm sure all of the girls on this call have, like I know there's so much talent in Clontarf Rugby. You can't beat the person before the player as well. So that's also another important thing that we highlight within our squads, and certainly in the squads I'm involved in.
And for you, what's the thing that you enjoy the most about rugby? What's the thing that makes you go back training every day?
Well, the people.
Yeah,
100%. It's the culture, it's the people. And then for me, I'm just really extremely thankful for the relationships I've been able to establish and sustain throughout my career, and throughout the world through rugby, really. So it really is a big rugby family, and I think that's probably one of the best things for me.
Yeah, I think as long as you enjoy going back down, and you can have a bit of fun at training, but you also get a bit of competition out of it. And I think that's what's great about Clontarf, is that the coaches are really energetic and they really make training fun. But as well, we know that some girls really love coming down to do all the tackling and all the rucking, and they absolutely love scrum time and all this kind of thing. So is there any aspect of the game in particular either as well that you enjoy more? Do you enjoy the tackling end? Do you like catching a high ball, anything like that?
That's a great question. I love, for me in the 15s game, I love the tactical side of it. So I'm a 12 at the moment, so specialist 12, and I'll cover 13 and 10 if I'm needed. And so, in terms of my role, I love my role.
Yeah.
There's a good few 12s in the team, and they're brilliant, they're awesome competition. We learn off each other, and, insides and outsides and that. But my favorite part of the game, I suppose, is, just being able to manipulate and utilize the space. Whether it's, I don't care if it's me in the gap or not. It's just as long as, someone in the team takes the go forward. So I enjoy that. And as always, when you're a player, you like being on the ball. So I do like being on the ball, at the right times, and put girls away if the opportunity presents itself, or take the gap if it's on.
So either be the person who's going to score a try, or make the opportunity for someone else to score a try. Always the nice.
I had to score tries.
Everyone loves scoring tries, surely.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Just a reminder, if you are watching live here in your audience, there's a Q&A box down in your bottom toolbar. Feel free to chuck in some questions there, and I will find a way to work it out. Sens, I'm going to ask you a bit of a funny question. I know we've been, Kiwi, you took it to a really good place, and then I'm going to try and go somewhere.
Go for it.
just over the last 10 years since you've been involved in terms of the development of like the professional game, and we kind of touched on it before in terms of player pathways, especially for women now. What's the state of it in Ireland at the moment in terms of full-time professionals? Is it growing, and how, I guess, could they grow it more for the women's game?
We've got to be realistic and, put in perspective what COVID is, I suppose, provided us with, in terms of the challenge that it's provided us with. And so I think it's important from a community aspect to ensure that we're actually going to have the players come back and play and enjoy it. It's the main thing to sustain then the next levels. So it'll be a bit of top and tail. So in terms of, really supporting and growing that grassroots space, which is exactly the excellent work you guys are doing here with Clontarf. And at the same time, ensuring that the high performance is still able to perform and in some respects, once the ship is slightly steady, puts everyone in a better position to then have a look at certain things. But certainly it's obviously important to anticipate these things in terms of what you're saying from a semi-pro and that, but it's also important to acknowledge that different unions and different countries, different player associations are in different phases. Some are in a position to, offer the semi-pro, those sorts of partnerships with their players, and others are sort of, just starting that process. So, it's a challenge, but the main thing is that the community game is strong coming back from COVID.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 100%. And the last one of the question box at the minute for now, before Kiwi, you can ask your great questions. Talk to us about your role models. Who are your biggest role models? And do you have any athletes that you really looked up to or inspired by?
Oh, so many. Obviously, my mum is a role model. My mum's my first role model, and my siblings.
Facts.
Yeah, my teammates are role models too. So I'm actually really lucky to be exposed to my role models every day. I think it's really important as well that anyone on this call, if you've got an older brother or sister, that role models just right there for yourselves as well, that you're surrounded by. But yeah, so my mum and my siblings would be my first role models. Yeah.
Brilliant. If we're then chatting maybe a bit more about the game, and I know as well yourself and a lot of other Irish female players played with the Babas, with the Barbarians as well. How did you find that experience? And hopefully it's going to go ahead now post-COVID as well. But I'd say that was a good bit of crack as well, going around and playing different countries that you might not meet in the Six Nations.
Oh, you're spot on there, Caoimhe. Definitely one of the highlights of my career, and so thankful to Fiona Stockley. She's like the chef de mission of the Babas women. So she's the one that kind of brings us all together, and gave me an opportunity twice to wear the Barbarians jersey, and it really was special. And some of the things in there, like it was special in that I felt like it came full circle with some of the girls that I would have played with in New Zealand, and other girls that I would have played against, in general, from both club and international level. So really special. Also really special from a knowledge sharing with some things that we did in the Barbarians, some sort of culture pieces that we did as a team to get to know each other in a short amount of time. I used that with Leinster last season too. We did the same thing in a slightly different way, and it was one of the best things that we could have done in terms of galvanizing us to the next level of understanding why we're there and to perform it in such a short time. So those sorts of things, apart from the experience, that was awesome, and playing Twickenham in front of 17,000 people for the my first opportunity, and then the second one was in Principality Stadium in Cardiff. Those are the games you want to play. So I'm just really thankful.
Yeah, I think it's really cool as well. During the week, or it might have been last week, when we saw investment announced in looking into a women's Lions team as well, which I think, exactly like you're saying, would be very, very cool to see. We get, players from different countries all playing together and touring as well. I think it would be brilliant showcasing women's rugby that way, but also, exactly like you're saying, for the players involved, it's a great learning experience for them as well. I think that'd be a cool thing to see.
Sens, there's a question in here.
Nice.
Favorite sorry, it's off the back of that, really. Favorite stadium that you've played in around the world?
Oh, favorite stadium, Fortress, Energia Park.
Yes, I love it. Yes. And why? Just because it's home, feels like home, was it?
Yeah, I think it's at this stage and at this phase of the women's game now, that is a fortress for us. Maybe in some years down the line, it might be Aviva Stadium for in the future. But for us, it's important that our fortress is something that is sacred to us. I've had some good moments on that pitch as well, both personally and with the teams. I think we've won a couple of times on that, a couple of championships on that pitch.
And just a local question there, and people would have seen this in the email that went out in the marketing, thanks to Sam, that your home club is Old Belvedere. Great friends of ours.
Yes. Go on, Belvo.
And is there a club ground in particular can you name the best and the worst club grounds that you've played on?
Well, I love Old Belvedere. When I lived in London, I played with the Harlequins. That was also a beautiful pitch. Old Belvedere has really nice pitches, nice clubs, and Ollie is a legend. He's brilliant. He's a man of the club over there. Worst pitch.
It's rough. I know. Does it rhyme with railway?
Say, guys.
You don't have to answer that. Yeah. I just thought I'd get a slag in there. Wait.
You've brought up a question for me then. What's the coldest match you've ever played? Because I think the coldest one I've ever gone to watch was it Scotland or Wales last year or the year before, in that like thunderstorm or whatever it was.
That was definitely the coldest.
Yeah. I don't know how you played on in that, because I remember being at that and all we could start to hear was the sound of the batters on the other side of the pitch. And then I think those few brave souls who weren't underneath the stands, like they hung out for as long as they could in the rain. But I think it just got so bad that they had to move out.
That game, that would definitely be my coldest. But it was funny because we were in the huddle. I was like, look at the people out here supporting us. They're still standing there, and we're kind of warm because we're running around. It's our job to perform for Ireland. But we were like, do it for you guys standing out there in the cold supporting us. And it was a funny old game. That was like 4 seasons in one game, wasn't it?
It was ridiculous. I remember I came back with a tan, but also it was like soaked to the skin from the rain, so it was a very odd day.
I think the tan was from the cold. I think it was just red. Kiva's the best supporter you ever find.
Oh, thanks, Quiva. I remember actually vividly the hailstones were so sore. That's why, it was.
Thankfully, I was underneath the stand, so I was okay. I think we all huddled into the back, which was great.
It's so irrelevant and so not off topic, but actually the coldest game I played, Sene, it was in Timaru, and it was a country match versus South Canterbury, and they cleared the snow off before we played. And it started, and then they had to call the game off halfway through the second half because the boys are too cold.
Oh my gosh!
So that was the relationship there was that Sene's from that area. It's also a very cold place, so it must have been very cold that match that you were at, Kiva, if that was the coldest match she's played.
Oh wow, Val.
Another question just coming here. We've sort of touched on it, but just one piece of advice for a young player that's starting out playing rugby.
That's starting, cool. Yeah. Is there a rough age?
I'm going to say 12, 13, 13, 14.
Oh,
13, 14.
nice.
Yeah. So early teens, just starting out.
Yeah, nice. You've obviously got to enjoy it. Makes you enjoy it. But I think the biggest thing for me is like, it's got to be brave. Be brave and, and enjoy it. It's probably...
No, that's good. That's good advice. Because and you have touched on it already a couple of times. Like the reasons why you play when you're young, they don't actually change as you get older. And we play for the fun of it. And as you've actually emphasized a couple of times, the social element, the relationships that you build. And I'm the same. Whether it's men's rugby or women's rugby, you go down to training because you love playing with your mates, and it's freezing cold, and you can't feel your face in the castle air of wind. But you go down there because you know that you'll all be cold together, like a pack of penguins. But those things don't change. Like, I know she's starting out and she's young, and I'm like, that's awesome. But whatever you start out with, I guarantee you, and Sene will back me up, Kevin, you'll be the same. Whatever you start with in terms of your enjoyment and what motivates you is generally the thing that keeps you going.
Totally. Yeah, you hit it on the head, Val. Yeah, 100%. And the other thing is, you mentioned that some girls on this call are sort of aspiring to aspiring for maybe provincial or national level, international level, which is brilliant. 100%, that is awesome. And while it's super enjoyable, the social element, it's so important, and I love it. You're probably competitive. That's why you're aspiring like that. And it's that environment that you'll thrive in, that competitive environment, because it makes you better as a player and as a person. But for me at this stage, it's about I just honestly, I've got so much belief in our team at the national level that we can get some results that will put us ahead. So I'm just sort of
Oh, it's a big thing like that, being competitive and also wanting to be there and get better as a player and help get your team better as well is also a big thing. But I think it's really important as well. Anyone who's starting out, you don't have to be Bevan Parsons. You don't have to be making the national team at 16 years old, although that's absolutely brilliant. Some people are also 23, 24 or older as well when they make the national team, if that's what you want to do. So I think a big thing, like you're saying, like enjoy it, make sure you're competitive, but don't stress if it's not clicking straight away. That's for some people. And I never played international, but I was definitely one of those people when I was playing rugby. It took me a long time to get even a basic skill. So that can happen as well. And don't be worried, or don't be looking to, give up just because you don't get it straight away.
That's an excellent point, Quiver. Because you've got to balance not putting too much pressure on yourself. Yeah, that's an excellent point. And I actually debuted for Ireland. Like, I was probably one of the oldest debut. It was, I thought I had retired, to be honest with you.
Right.
We had traveled the world, and, I came primarily to support my husband's work, thinking that I'd retired from rugby. And it was only that I felt fit and able and just wanted to give that sevens program a go for the Olympics. And it started from there, and then naturally it progressed into, I was competitive, and then I just wanted to sort of, I knew I had a self-belief that, had what it takes and all that stuff from an international point of view. So yeah, it's never too late. That's a good point that you're saying, Quiver. Yeah.
And I know as well, just quickly, I think we have another question there, but this year now we've got a few sevens players who've come into the 15 squad. So I'm definitely excited to see them and see what skills they can bring to the match. But are you looking forward to seeing them on the pitch as well now in 15s?
Yeah, it's actually been really fun training with the girls. So a lot of the sevens girls, we would have trained together. We were like the OGs back in the day when the program first started. So it's actually it's been a big memory lane since they've been joining us in camp.
Very good.
It's actually, it's been awesome. It's actually been special to see how much they've grown as people in general, because they've been in the program for a very long time, and it's actually been pretty cool. It's actually been quite special to train alongside them and help them in the 15s game, just in terms of technically and different things like that. Your likes of your Stacey Floods, who's he's been training at 10 for, fly half, which is not an easy position. So, we would have trained plenty of years at the 7. So being able to support, the girls like that, and Amy Lee Murphy-Crows, and a newcomer, Grace Moore, who's a flanker in the 15s game, and a couple of other girls too who are just, talented bunch.
I'd say they're beating some of the sprint leadership boards anyway at this stage.
Oh, Baven's still up there. I think I'm still up there.
all those tickers in athletics.
On the other way, I think, on there.
Speak to feet.
No, I wish.
Good question coming here, and I'm going to elaborate on that one. So, toughest opponent that you've played, and then I'm going to ask you the toughest person you've marked. Because 12 is one of those vulnerable ones. Like, I hide in the forward pack because if I miss a tackle, one of the, someone else is going to clean up, hopefully. But like 12 is like the ball's gone out too, and I'm like, make the tackle or not.
Actually, the hardest person would have been in 7s.
Oh yeah,
playing Australia, and it's Vance Paletti. She is strong. Vance Paletti, and you get her and you're isolated. Oh, yeah, she was class. 7s is obviously a bit more kind of exposed, but in the 15s game, the hardest opponent, Scares would be pretty strong as a 13. Yeah, so probably
she's able to break a lot of tackles anyway. And you see a lot of I think now, which is really cool, we see a lot of front rows being able to take a good sprint and break through a few tackles. And I think it was a player for Bristol Bears a few months back even, I think, who broke through a tackle and ran half the pitch to score a try. So it's really cool, and it's very exciting to sort of see that. But I'd say it's very daunting, like Val is saying, for the backs, the people who might be covering the backfield and covering whoever breaks through the line, to see a hooker who might be twice as big as you coming at you, and you have to stop them. So it's making it very interesting though. Yeah,
it's funny you say that, actually, Caoimhe, because we don't think like that at all. It's I probably gave too much respect to Scares. She's an excellent player, world class, the best. But we don't think that, when you're in defense mode, you have so much pride that it doesn't matter. You do what it takes to.
Yeah.
So, in training, actually, it's funny. We were talking about it when everyone was raving about the amazing step, and rightly so, from Tate Furlong. Because we were laughing because...
Good Clontarf man.
Exactly. What a legend. And
the Bulls know how to dance. The Bulls know how to dance.
But it was funny because that was on. The world was going crazy. And I was like to the girls, hey, we should put our training footage on because our props do some of them.
Yeah.
No joke. I
wouldn't put it past Lindsay Pete anyway. I'd say she's
Lindsay Pete is like... I'm not sure. Do you know Lindsay Pete, Val? Or
I know. Of course. Yeah.
She's she's just another level of athlete. Yeah.
She's a really good example of someone who played so many different sports as well, and who was able to come across to rugby as well, or like Hannah Tyrrell as well, who played for Dublin, that kind of thing. So even further kind of proves your point there of play different sports, and you might find the one that you'll enjoy the most at the end.
Yeah, and Hannah Tyrrell is she's super to train with as well. All of the girls,
huge engine, I'd say. Man.
She's so much experience from the 7 side as well, like you were saying. So I'd say she's a good bit of knowledge on her anyway for playing 15s.
Oh, she's freaky. Seriously, I love watching her play because she can do almost anything. That's pretty cool. We're just mindful of the time, Sene, and we've taken heaps of time, and you've been very generous. So we won't be too much longer. We might have a couple more questions. But just as we wrap up, I just want to say from our point of view, we really appreciate you giving your time, jumping on, a wealth of knowledge. And I know this about you, and people who have just jumped on will notice this about you, is that you're willing to work hard and compete, but you're not just in it for yourself. You want to take other people along for the ride, and it's probably even reflective of you, seeing some of those 7s girls come into it and getting alongside them and seeing them succeed, which inevitably makes the group succeed. So it's a really good lesson for all of us in terms of the culture that we want to create at our club and within our teams. around, taking people with us to the ride in terms of succeeding and enjoying ourselves. Kev, have you got any more questions to wrap up, or anything to say?
Let me see. I guess
Just on the spot.
a good question I always like to see. I'd ask this of any of the girls who are on the senior squad as well. I like people to sort of make try score predictions. So if you had to choose anyone in the Irish squad, who do you think is going to score the first try? It's probably going to be Bevan Parsons, I'd say.
Oh, our squad.
Yeah.
Oh, the thing is that that's a great question, but the squad hasn't been named. So I'll answer you when the squad's named. That's taking me off the hook.
Kevin, there's a trick question, and also there's bookies on here. There's bookies on here watching.
And the other thing that I was really, really happy about last weekend was that Jay Conan was my first try, as in like he scored the first try for Leinster.
Very good.
With the draw thing. But, that's a good question.
Another OB faithful, was it?
I think that's the one. Nah.
No, we're all friends here. We're all friends.
Yes.
I've got a couple more questions for you, just for a bit of crack. You're ordering dessert. What is it going to be?
Oh, it'll be either sticky toffee pudding.
Ooh.
Sticky pudding or apple pie.
Nice. And then similarly enough, you've gone down to Centra. You got a bit of a sweet tooth, and you're going into the ice cream fridge. What are you picking out?
The Rocky Road. The thing with the like biscuit crumb on the outside.
Yeah,
That's Rocky Road, eh?
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I hardly do that. I hardly do that.
I wasn't trying to put you in a compromising situation. I was just thinking that. Actually, it's probably more me. I'm like, it's getting to 8:00 and I want to go to Centra and get myself Snickers ice cream.
Yeah, true. Oh, that's yours, is it?
Yeah, no, that's me. I don't eat them either, though. I'm an athlete.
What's yours, Caoimhe?
I don't think you can beat the chocolate fudge brownie, the Ben & Jerry's one. So I think I have that in the freezer now, so I might go down and have that after this.
Nice.
Centra and Calista, it's always on sale.
Yeah, true.
No,
nice.
That's cool. That's awesome, Sene. Thank you so much. Like I said before, we really, really appreciate your time. We wish you the best of luck, and the girls. One, for the squad naming, and two, for the upcoming match. We're watching it with eager anticipation, and Kev is hoping for her fantasy rugby team that it does well.
Oh, awesome. Oh, thanks guys for having me. I appreciate it. And thanks for anyone out there who's listening, and best wishes as well for your next one. Thanks Fiona. Who's that? Thanks Fiona. Best wishes for the next panel that you guys have. Keep up the awesome work.
Cheers, Sene, and we will hopefully see you down at the ball ring, obviously in a supportive capacity for now. Watching George and cheer him on with his under 20s. But all the best. Kevin, did you want anything at the end? Do you want to say anything at the end?
No, I'm good. Thanks very much for coming on, and there was loads of really interesting information there for any of the kids watching. So thank you.
Not at all. Thanks for having me, guys.
Awesome sense. Come back next week and we'll have our last one of our series for school holidays. Hope you guys got heaps out of that, and remember to write in your questions, send them to Sam on, I don't know what his email address is. Go on the website, figure it out, and we'll ask the questions next week. Thanks, guys. Stay safe and stay warm and out of the sun. See ya.